Hi, hello, this is Rona. So today I'm gonna share to you the most common chief complaint I encounter in the clinic. I've seen a couple of picky eaters today. So let's talk about picky eating. And this is a really common behavior among toddlers. So the most common reason why picky eating is happening among toddlers is because they have sensitivity issue towards food texture, taste, and smell. This can be an overwhelming experience to them. Remember when they were born, for the most part of their life, they're used to breast milk or formula, and then suddenly they started eating solids, so just the sensory stimulation they got from the texture, the smell, and the taste of the food is highly stimulating for them. So before we start with the tips, I want to emphasize this very important rule in dealing with picky eating child. So feeding is a shared responsibility between the mom and the child. The parent controls what, where, and when the food is provided, and the child decides whether to eat the food or not, and how much, or the quantity of the food that they're gonna eat. We have to set this kind of like a rule. We have to think about this rule because this provides the child to have a sense of control of the experience, and at the same time they will able to learn a routine, which is a very important milestone in their in that age. Now we know that there is a shared responsibility between the parent and the child in feeding. Now let's move on to the tips. So the first tip is, of course, you have to set a meal schedule. So the meal schedule should be breakfast, mid-morning snacks, lunch, afternoon snacks, dinner, and bedtime snacks. This provides food for the child every 2 to 3 hours, and establishing this interval for feeding assures the child that they will not starve. So after you offer the food and you offered it 2 to 3 times and they decide not to eat, that they refuse to eat, that's totally okay. What we're gonna do is we will let them wait. They can wait for the next scheduled meals, or scheduled meal time. Avoid giving food outside the scheduled meal times or cooking last minute just for them to eat, because this rewards a negative behavior towards the food. Remember, we have to set a routine for toddlers to follow, because that's how they will able to get the sense of control of the experience. And also, following this feeding window will make them, if they skip a meal, and then we let them, and then tell them that you can only eat next on the next feeding schedule, they will feel a little bit hungry, and for the most part, they will most likely eat on that next meal. And for the second tip, of course, we have to offer variety of age-appropriate healthy foods. So the variety of foods here consists of vegetables, protein, fruit, and starch or starchy or carbohydrate food. You can use a toddler plate, which you can buy it on stores, to determine the serving size, and you have to divide it into a quarter, so a quarter in each of the food categories that I mentioned. So the three main meals, so that will be the breakfast, the lunch, and the dinner. So this food, the mom will decide for the most part, the mom will decide which food is she gonna provide to the child. So the main meals during this time should not be limited to the child's favorite food. If they refuse to eat after introducing it 2 to 3 times and they don't want to eat it, that's still okay. We can reintroduce it some other time. The important thing is you have to keep on reintroducing it every meal time or meal schedule. And this approach will help them explore new food and giving them a message that this food is not going away. So the more the child see the food, it becomes like no longer a foreign thing to them, and suddenly they will show interest towards that food and hopefully able to try and taste it. Remember, the consistency and patience is really important with picky eating child. So let's go with the snacks. So the snacks in between, the serving portion would be a quarter to a half portion of the toddler size plate. Offer healthy food options that the child normally like. So remember, the main meals, the mom is the one deciding what food that he's gonna eat. But this time for the snacks, the child, whatever the child's favorite healthy snack, should be offered during the snacks in between. So including the food that they like on snacks validates them that they have a sense of control on this experience, which is a very big part in their development. Remember, it is a shared responsibility between the child and the parent. Tip number 3, limit high calorie drinks. So we must avoid soda and vitamin water since they are all packed with sugar. As for milk and fruit juice, we have to limit the intake of this drink. So for recommendation for milk, it should be around 15 to 18 ounces in a day. And as for the juice, around 4 ounces total in one day. Milk supplement like Pediasure is only recommended if the child has a history of continuously losing weight for the past few months, or if the child has a chronic medical condition that it's so hard for them to maintain or gain weight. The reason why we have to be mindful of these drinks because they are highly packed of sugar, and when they drink high amounts of this drink, they will definitely have a full belly, and in the process they will eat poorly on meal times. Tip number 4, make a pleasant environment during meal times. This means remove any form of distraction surrounding the child during meal times. So this could be playing video games, watching TV, playing music, or playing with his or her toys. Family members should be together during the main meals. So that will be as much as possible, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because when the child sees that the family member is eating the same food that he's eating, he will most likely eat the food that is prepared for them. Also, avoid arguing or discussing serious family issues over meals because this creates a very tense environment for the child, and we'll see meal times as a negative experience for them. Tip number 5, respect toddlers' eating quirks. Some toddlers would like to eat sandwich when it's cut on a certain particular shape, or they would like to remove the crust of the sandwich in order for them to eat the sandwich. Any particular way for them to eat specific food, let them have it. That's okay. Sometimes whatever they eat today may not be appetizing for tomorrow, and that's still okay. The important thing is, remember, we mentioned that the sense of control is important for the child. So them having this certain eating quirks kind of like give them that sense of control. And the last tip is surround your child with other children, especially during meal times. Sometimes surrounding them with other children allows them to observe their eating habits and also able for them to discover new food. And whenever they see that their peers eat almost the same type of food as what he or she is eating at home, they would most likely be encouraged to try the food. To sum it up, picky eating is a normal phase in a toddler's life. Remember, there is a shared responsibility between the parent and the child. As long as the child is not losing weight or the weight is maintaining the weight percentile expected for their age, it's okay to skip a meal. If you are consistent with the routine set around the meal times, picky eating will be less likely a concern. To all parents, you know your child better than everyone else. This video is only a guide. If you think that there is more concern than just picky eating, talk to your pediatrician about it. There you have it. That is my take on how to deal with picky eating in a child. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you soon.